US President Donald Trump has expressed his disappointment in billionaire Elon Musk, who publicly opposed a sweeping tax cut and spending bill that's a central cog in the president's domestic agenda. The massive package, which passed the Republican-led House of Representatives by a single vote in May and dubbed by Trump as his one big beautiful bill, was slammed by Musk in a number of social media posts because it's estimated to increase the federal deficit by trillions of dollars. Some Americans say they are not surprised by the feud between the two.
My first reaction was laughter at Elon's tweet about the Epstein files not being released and why, and the pettiness of it made me laugh.
I think it's really funny. I think I'm not really surprised, and it's really just another source of entertainment.
Two very different guys that I think it was doomed from the beginning.
They're two guys who are very powerful and they have big egos, and I don't know how much of it is staged as well. You know, Trump is a reality TV guy, and people say he's said so much stuff on social media, even before he ran for president, to get attention. And it's so hard to know like how much of this is staged and how much of it is real.
I think just with two very extreme, intense personalities, it was kind of an inevitable that something was going to be the breaking point that kind of pushed them apart.
Each of them thinks that they're God's gift to mankind, and they can, no, there's no way they can last a relationship that would last.
Given the way that the termination went for Elon, I mean, it's not surprising at all that this is going the way it is. How fast it's going downhill, it is pretty impressive, but yeah, it's not surprising in any form.
It looks like a lot of petty fighting, a lot of male hubris, just out on display.
And the question is, where to from here? And do they keep fighting, or are there some compromises to be made by both men? And for more on this, we are now joined by SABC News US Correspondent Sherwin Bryce-Pease, and he joins us now via video link. Sherwin, thank you so much for your time this evening. Maybe let's start off here. Remind us, what is at the core of the disagreement between the world's most powerful man and the world's most richest man? Some even say that, there is more behind this public spat.
Look, I'll say this, Mbali, it certainly makes a strong case for more women to be in power, be that in business or be that in politics. Look, you heard even in those vox pops from Americans, right? What's at the core of this? Was it Elon Musk's exit from the federal government a week ago? There was that press conference with his bruised eye in the Oval Office. Trump gave him a gold key. Clearly, the intention of the Trump administration was certainly to keep Elon Musk on side. But who knows in terms of the granularity as to how that moment came about. Soon after, Elon Musk then departs the federal government and his role as the head of the Department of Government Efficiency. He starts taking a great issue with the core cog in President Trump's domestic legislative agenda, essentially a spending budget tax cut bill that Trump refers to as his one big beautiful bill that is core to his domestic economic policy agenda. Elon Musk taking issue with it, calling for the bill to be killed, calling for the Senate not to pass what the House has passed. There is a reconciliation process that is now underway in the Senate. So the tenets of the core tenets of the legislation could in fact change before it eventually is signed into law. But he has taken a very strong posture here in terms of his opposition to this legislation, which is confounding people because Elon Musk has amplified, he has emboldened everything this administration has done, particularly using his platform X to do just that. What the Congressional Budget Office, an independent, nonpartisan office in Congress, has done here, it has estimated that this spending bill will add $2.4 trillion to the United States deficit, to the United States debt burden, and it will cut access for 11 million Americans to health care. Is this the issue that is driving Elon Musk's opposition? It certainly seems so from what he is saying, but we would be conspiracy theorists if I were to tell you exactly what possibly could be at the root of this, if it, of course, happened behind closed doors and led, of course, to that exit from the White House last week.
Sherwin, I mean, there have been some fake posts also making the rounds on social media, particularly looking at President Donald Trump and saying that he has backtracked on his genocide claims to South Africa. But any word on how the split might actually affect that refugee program for white Afrikaners?
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of calls from South Africa asking me if it was true, and I had to shoot that down very quickly because I hadn't seen anything about Donald Trump backtracking. Certainly on the record, what we've heard from South Africa's presidential delegation that visited the White House a couple of weeks ago was that the president was certainly in doubt about whether his allegations of genocide were true, and that there was going to be greater engagement in terms of the G20, and that Trump is likely to attend that leaders summit in November later this year. But in terms of a backtrack, there has been no backtrack. There is an executive order that the president has signed. That is still prevalent and relevant. There is a refugee program that is underway. We understand the embassy in Pretoria continues to vet possible refugees, white Afrikaner or minority refugees that could find a pathway to the United States, including citizenship. So that fundamentally has not changed. The question then becomes, could it change, right, if this breakup, if this bromance continues to decompose here? And of course, a lot of concern about whether that refugee program will, as a result, then be discontinued or whether it will, in fact, go ahead. Too many questions here, a lot of speculation that Elon Musk was in the ear of President Trump in terms of him moving in that direction, in terms of the allegations against South Africa. The question is now, does that calculus change that he is now temporarily, one can suspect, out of favor? Is this going to be more permanent? We simply don't know. We are seeing a cooling down. They have not tweeted against each other. Tesla's share price is up today after closing 14% down. So the indications are that they are moving in the right direction. But don't underestimate how two public figures, right, King Kong versus Godzilla, can hurt each other. Elon Musk is very rich. He can hurt Trump politically. He can hurt Trump's agenda in terms of some of the contracts that that they have in terms of fueling and transporting astronauts to the International Space Station. But Trump is the president of the United States. He's talked about revoking contracts and subsidies that could hurt Elon Musk's business. He can impose regulations. They can raise questions about Elon Musk's immigration status in the United States. There's some questions around that. So they could really hurt each other if they want to do. The question is, will they pull back now? One will have to wait and see.
Certainly, Sherwin. One would also then ask, what does Elon Musk stand to lose in this battle? What are the ramifications, particularly for Elon Musk, considering looking at Tesla sales and also looking at how much money he's lost?
Yeah, and that number is around $34 billion when that share price dropped. Tesla losing $150 billion almost in market cap. So the financial implications here are quite severe. But let's not also underestimate that, the fact that Elon Musk in Bali was already suffering some political and financial damage because of his close affiliation and association with the president. So it cuts both ways. His Tesla sales were going down because Democrats in the main were the purchasers, the patrons of electric vehicles. Trump is more of the drill baby, drill variety. And so there are financial implications here, but do not underestimate the constituency that Elon Musk enjoys. Elon Musk put $250 million of his own money into supporting the president's re-election campaign, supporting Republicans in terms of their retaking the House of Representatives and the Senate. And so he has political and financial muscle in terms of what damage he could do. But Donald Trump has the levers to regulations, and that could really hurt a SpaceX. It could hurt a Tesla and all a Starlink, for example. So I guess Republicans will say to them, play nicely, boys.
All right, Sherwin, thank you so much for that update.